This paper is IGCSE Physics Feb-March 2024 MCQ variant paper 2 extended version. Now let's start with the first question. The first question says that a student has a measuring cylinder containing water. So measuring cylinder contains water and also has a balance. Which of these could she use to find volume of small metal sphere? If you only want to find volume, you will simply need the measuring cylinder only. If you wanted to find the density, then for density we needed the mass as well as the volume. So in that case, balance and measuring cylinder would have been required. But now, as we only need to find the volume, so only measuring cylinder will be required. So the correct answer will be B here. Question number 2. Diagram shows a solid object on a flat surface with two forces acting on it. They're simply asking what is the resultant force. So resultant force, here it is 4 Newton, here it is 3 Newton. So resultant force will be 1 Newton towards the right. So the correct answer is option number B, 1 Newton towards the right. A ball is falling towards the ground. Which transfer between energy stores is taking place? As the ball is falling from ground towards the ground, so it is definitely at some height h. So at this point it mainly has gravitational potential energy, but as it is going down, the gravitational potential energy is getting converted to kinetic energy. So the answer correct will be option number C. Question number 4. Which row contains one scalar quantity and one vector quantity? Energy is a scalar quantity, velocity is a vector quantity. So this option looks correct. Let's check the other options as well. Mass is a scalar quantity, but time is also a scalar quantity. Momentum is vector and weight is vector as well. Distance is scalar, temperature is scalar. So our correct answer will be A. Because energy is a scalar quantity, velocity is a vector quantity. So correct answer for this question will be A. The table gives data about four liquids W, X, Y, and Z. Alright. And the mass is 10 grams, volume is 10. So the density here will be 1 grams per centimeter cube. Let's just calculate the density for all of them. It will make it easier for us to solve. Density for X will be 20 over 15, which is 1.33. And the density for Y will be 30 over 50, which is 0.6. Density for Z will be 40 over 50, which is 0.8. Now we can simply solve this question. None of the liquid mixes with any of the other liquids. All the liquids are put in the same container and settle to form four separate layers. So definitely the one with the highest density will settle to the bottom. Which one is the one with the highest density? According to our calculation, X is the one with highest density. So X forms the top layer. This option automatically gets incorrect because X is the densest one, so it will settle at the bottom. Y forms the bottom layer. No, this will be incorrect as well. Because X will form the bottom layer as it is the most dense. Z forms a layer below Y. This we can check. The density of Z is 0.8 and density of Y is 0.6. So clearly Z will be at the bottom of Y. This option is correct. Now let's also check option number A. W forms layer below X. W's density is 1 and X density is 1.3. Not possible. X will form layer below W, not W. Option A is incorrect. Next question. So this is a question of equilibrium and they're simply asking us that which equation is correct according to the variables given. Alright. So let's consider these three forces P, Q and R. According to the pivot, R will be trying to rotate it clockwise and Q will also be trying to rotate it clockwise and P will be trying to rotate the pivot, the balance, anti-clockwise. And we know that anti-clockwise moment of force should be equal to clockwise moment of force. So for anti-clockwise, the force is P. What is the distance from the pivot? It is D. So I'll write P times D. For clockwise, we have two forces. Q, what is the perpendicular distance from pivot? B. So I'll write Q times B plus R is another force which is trying to rotate clockwise. So R times perpendicular distance from the pivot, which is A. R times A. So we can rearrange this. P into D minus Q into B is equals to R into A. Which option is matching? This is not matching. No, no. This is the correct answer. What I simply did here is I considered all the three forces, and the first thing what I did is consider which direction these forces are trying to rotate the beam. So one is rotating clockwise, the other one is anti-clockwise. Then I did the maths. Anti-clockwise is equals to clockwise. So next question. An object is moving 3 meters per second. A force acts on an object. After a time, the object is moving. Okay. So initial velocity is 3. Final velocity given is minus 4. Mass is 5 kg. What is the change in momentum of the body? So change in momentum is given by mv minus mu. Let's just substitute the values. 5. Final velocity is negative, so I'll put it negative. Minus 5 into initial velocity is 3. This is minus 20, minus 15. So the answer is coming out to be negative 35 kg meters per second. Correct answer is A. Question number 8. The diagram shows a column of liquid. The pressure due to the liquid at the bottom is 6000. What is the density? So pressure is density into gravitational acceleration into height. Pressure given to us is 6000. Density we're trying to find. G, I'm just taking 10. H, 50 centimeters is given. So we'll have to convert it into meters, 0.5. Now you can cancel this 0, this 0. 600 over 0.5 will be the density, which comes out to be 1200. So the correct answer is option number B. Now, question number 9. Which statement correctly describes a change of state? Gas condenses to form a liquid. This is correct. A liquid melts to form a solid. Solid melts to form a liquid. A solid condenses. Condensation is the change of state from gas to liquid. So this is incorrect. Solid boils to form a gas. A liquid boils to form a gas. This is also incorrect. So our correct answer will be 9A. A gas condenses to form a liquid. Water vapors condense to form liquid. So option A will be correct. Now this is a question on thermal physics. They're simply asking that you have a base of pan and you have the handle of pan. Which one is a good conductor and which one is a bad conductor? So simply you heat the pan from this area, from the base, and you want the heat to travel to the food, to transfer to the food. That is why your food can be cooked, right? So you need the base to be a good conductor. It needs to be good at absorbing heat. But at the same time, the handle that you use, majority of times it is made up of plastic because you want it not to be hot. When you're trying to touch it, it doesn't burn. It should not burn. So this should be a bad conductor of heat. So base of a pan should be good thermal conductor and the handle should be poor thermal conductor simply because you do not want to catch the heat. You cannot touch that much hot pan. So that is why the handles are made of bad thermal conductor. So the correct answer here will be B. Solar heating panels consist of pipes carrying water that absorb radiation from the sun. Which texture and color is the surface of pipes so that the temperature rises at the quickest rate? So you simply want that temperature increases in the fastest possible way. For this, we need a material, we need something that absorbs heat at the fastest rate. And we are all aware that black is the absorber. Now, the comparison between dull black and the shiny black. Shiny black still reflects some of the heat, but the dull black absorbs everything. So, the dull black will help in this case. The dull black will absorb everything, every frequency of light. Now, so the question 11 answer will be A. When pollen grains in water are viewed through a microscope, they are seen to be in continuous rapid motion. This is mainly because they are continuously hit by water molecules. This question has been repeated numerous times in the earlier past papers as well. So the answer will be uneven bombardment on different sites by water molecules. Correct answer will be C. A circular flat bottom dish contains 100 centimeter cube of water. Fine. Students are asked how to increase the rate at which the water evaporates. So they're simply asking how can you increase evaporation. The points we have studied is that increase the temperature, increase the surface area, or increase the wind speed, right? So student 1, pour the water into a flat bottom dish of larger diameter. This will provide more surface area. So this is a good choice. Cool the dish, they're decreasing the temperature, it won't help. Create a current of air, so they're increasing the wind speed. So statement A and 3 are the correct ones. So option C will be correct. To increase the rate of evaporation, you need to increase the temperature, and the student 2 is suggesting decrease the temperature. So that is why this is wrong. And student 1 is suggesting indirectly increase the surface area. Student 3 is suggesting increase the wind speed. So both of these are correct. You must have noticed on your own that when the cloths are left to dry on a windy day, wet cloths are left to dry on a windy day, they lose all the water very easily. The water gets evaporated very easily. Now, next question. Which row describes the behavior of particles in a liquid? Now, in a solid, particles are fixed and they only vibrate at the fixed position. But in liquids, the forces are a bit weak compared to solids, but still strong enough. So, strong, we will have to pick. In gases, the forces between particles are very weak. In liquids, still they are strong. And for solids, they only vibrate at fixed position. Liquids, however, can change their positions and still vibrate. So the correct answer to this question will be B. See, option A is suggesting move randomly at high speed. This is not what liquids do, this is what gases do. Vibrate in fixed position, this is done by solids, not liquids. So the correct answer is option number B. The diagram shows the equipment used in an experiment on heating of aluminium. The table gives the results for the experiment. Okay, so there is a power supply with a specific voltage, specific current, and time duration is also given. So ultimately, what the question is suggesting is that you have a power supply with voltage, current, and specific time. Due to this, the heat is being delivered and the thermometer is sensing the heat. And they're telling what is the maximum possible temperature rise in the block. So we know this formula that voltage is equals to work done by charge, and we also know that Q charge is equals to current into time. Alright. So voltage will be equals to work done by current into time, and the work is being done here to change the temperature. So work done is similar to heat here, heat energy. So we can say that is equals to mc delta T. Work done is also joules and the heat energy will also be joules. So I can rearrange this and say that voltage will be equals to energy by current into time, and energy in this case is mc delta t by current into time. Now we just need to substitute the values. So the mass is 0.8, the specific heat capacity is 900, change in temperature, let's keep it as delta T only. What is the current given? Current is 5 for a time of 100 seconds, and this is equals to the voltage. So 12 volts. Then rearranging this equation, we will get 12 into 5 into 100 divided by 0.8 into 900. Now, let's try to solve this. So 1200 times 5 will be 6000, and 0.8 times 900 will be 720. Now 6000 over 720 is directly coming out to be 25 degrees Celsius. So our correct answer is C. This is one of the good questions. Now in case you did not understand it, I am explaining the question again. Alright, I'll explain the question again. Let me just use the pen. So see, they are saying, the question is saying you have a power supply and the power supply is connected to the heater. So the energy that the power supply is delivering to the heater, as a result of that, temperature is being changed. The energy which the power supply is giving to the heater, due to that energy only, temperature is being changed. So we can find out the energy supplied by heater, energy supplied to heater from the power source. We can find energy supplied to heater from power source, and this energy is ultimately helping in changing the temperature, right? So this is why what I did here is I first of all calculated how much energy. I just substituted it, but understand the formula. Voltage is work done by charge, and the charge is equals to current into time. So the work done or the energy that we are calculating here, this is the energy that is resulting in change of temperature, right? The energy that you are calculating here, this is the one which is helping you to change the temperature. So in place of this, I directly substituted mc delta T to make the calculation simple. And then the question was solved. We just had to substitute the values. Okay. Now, next question. Question number 16. You have to just figure out amplitude speed. So R is the amplitude and the wavelength is this. See, wavelength can be anything. Most of you might have studied that only crest to crest is a wavelength, or only trough to trough is a wavelength. But this can also be the wavelength. You can also measure the distance later. It always comes out to be the same. Even I'll mark another point. This can be the wavelength as well, from here to here. You can measure the distance later, it always comes out to the same. This is the wavelength, this is the wavelength, this is the wavelength, this is the wavelength. So Q is a wavelength and R is the amplitude. Let's check which option matches. R is the amplitude, Q is the wavelength. So option number C is correct. Which row describes characteristics of an image formed by plane mirror? Plane mirror always forms virtual images and they are always the same size as the object. So virtual and same size as the object. 17th question, option number D will be correct. Question 18. Audible frequencies for elements is 10 to 12,000. Alright. For horses, 55 to 30,000. For humans, it is 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. So will a human be able to hear all the sounds made by elephant? No. Will he be able to hear all the sounds made by horses? It is exceeding above 20,000, so not possible. The human won't be able to hear all the audible frequencies made by elephants and horses. So let's pick the correct answer. Option A is saying human ear can hear all sounds by both. No, it can not. The human ear can hear all sounds heard by elephants. No, incorrect. We simply need to find the option where it is saying no for both. The human ear cannot hear all sounds heard by elephants nor those heard by horses. So the correct answer will be 18th. 18th correct option will be option number D. An object is placed in the front of a plane mirror. Okay, which what is the proper image? All right. So as you can see, if you imagine that this is a mirror and you are standing here, so even with a bit of common sense, you can think that image is formed exactly opposite and it is at the same distance from the mirror. So if this distance is x, this should be x. Now this option B is incorrect, D is incorrect, C is incorrect. The image formed will be exactly on the opposite side and the same distance from the mirror as the object. And also these questions are done like this only, that you draw the incident ray, you draw the reflected ray, then what you do is you trace the reflected ray backwards to get this. Alright. There have also been questions like this where you have to draw in paper 4. Let's say this is the object and they ask you to draw the diagram where image will be formed. So what you can simply do from here is that draw one ray like this and reflect it at the same angle by marking the normal. Then you can draw one ray like this and reflect it at the same angle by marking the normal. Now retrace the reflected ray backwards, and in this case as well, you will notice that it will come out to be the same point. Currently it is a bit inaccurate because I'm not using a scale, but you understood the concept. You just retrace the reflected ray backwards and it will always form the image. Now, this question, light refracts as it enters the glass from air. They're simply asking refractive index. So refractive index is equals to sine I over sine R. Is this the angle of incidence? No. Angle of incidence will be this, which is 90 minus theta 1. So we can say sine 90 minus theta 1 by sine theta 2 will be the refractive index. So which option will be correct? Option C will be correct. Now, starting with question 21, they have mentioned that the speed of light in air is 3 into 10 to the power 8 and then it enters the glass block. Alright. What is the speed of light in glass? Okay. So for this, multiple methods are out there. I'll tell you all the methods. First of all, we apply Snell's law, which is n1 sin I is equals to n2 sin R. Then you rearrange this equation into n2 over n1, which is equals to sin I over sin R. Then this is also equals to v1 over v2. This is a very important relation to solve the refractive index questions where they mention angle or they sometimes ask you the speed. Now we can use any two relations. I'll solve it for you using both. So first let's do it using sin I by sin R is equals to v1 or v2. We're trying to find velocity. So sin I is sin 55 and sin R is 33. So sin 33 degrees. V1 is the velocity in medium 1, which is air. So 3 times 10 to the power 8 and V2 will be the velocity in glass. Now if you solve this, let's rearrange it first. 3 into 10 to the power 8 into sin 33 by sin 55. If you solve this thing, your answer will come out to be 2 times 10 to the power 8 meters per second. So from the relation of angles and velocity, we found that the answer is 2 into 10 to the power 8. But let's solve it using the refractive index relation as well, that n2 over n1 is equals to v1 over v2. n2 is the refractive index of glass, which is 1.5 usually. You have to remember this value. and n1 is the refractive index of air, which is 1. v1 is the velocity in air, which is 3 times 10 to the power 5, 10 to the power 8, sorry, and v2 is the velocity in glass. So velocity in glass is equals to 3 into 10 to the power 8 by 1.5, so it is 2 times 10 to the power 8 meters per second. So we have done the question using both relations and the answer is coming out to be the same. Your choice which method you want to use. So the answer will be B in this question. Which row about converging lenses and diverging lenses are correct? Converging lenses are the convex ones, diverging lenses are the concave ones. Converging lenses always produce inverted images? No. There are 6 cases for converging lenses in our syllabus. 5 cases produce inverted images, but the last case, which is the magnifying glass case, in which virtual erect image is formed. So this statement is not 100% correct. Diverging lenses do not focus a parallel beam of light, they diverge the light rays. Converging lenses can be used as a magnifying glass. Just like I mentioned, there are 6 cases in our syllabus, out of which the last one forms virtual and erect image and it is used for magnifying glass. So this statement is correct. Let's check for diverging. Does not have principal focus. No, all the lenses have principal focus. Convex or concave, both of them have principal focus. Converging lenses can be used to correct short-sightedness. No, it can be used to correct long-sightedness. So this is incorrect. Are usually thinner. Incorrect. Converging lenses can produce both. So just like I mentioned, there are 6 cases, out of which the first 5 cases produce virtual image and the last case produces the first 5 cases produce real image and the last case produces virtual image. So D. And it can be used to correct short-sightedness for diverging lens. This is correct. In convex lenses, 6 cases are there, from which 1 to 5 produce always real and inverted image, and the last case is used as a magnifying case, which produces virtual and erect image. So that is why option D is correct here. Okay, so there is a charged rod on a balance and another rod Y is brought close to it. The reading currently is 45.3 and now it is 45.7. Interesting question. Simply by bringing a rod above it, we are not even touching both of them. There is a change in the mass, or we can say there is a change in the force being exerted. So most likely the case must be that both of them are trying to repel each other. X does not have any place to go, so it is just increasing on the weight. Both of them must be repelling each other, and for repulsion, positive repels and negative repels. We have negative here, so this should be correct. Negative positive, they do not repel, they attract. So X will be going up, then the mass will be decreasing, not increasing. So B is incorrect. Negative, no charge, no attraction, no repulsion. Positive, no charge, no attraction, no repulsion. The case is very simple. They're saying that initially when X was only placed, 45.3 was the mass. Now when you are bringing a Y floating in air, still the mass is increasing. Why is that? Because both of them are exerting repulsive forces on each other. Y is repelling X towards the ground and X is repelling Y towards the top. So the correct answer will be A. Next question. What is the unit of potential difference? Volts is the unit of potential difference. The diagram shows a transformer. What is the output voltage? So for this we know that the formula is NP over NS is equals to VP over VS. NP is the number of turns in primary coil divided by number of turns in secondary coil is equals to voltage in primary coil by voltage in secondary coil. Do we know the number of turns in primary coil? Yes, it is 550. Do we know the number of turns in secondary coil? Yes, it is 115. Do we know the voltage in primary coil? Yes, 22,000. Do we know the voltage in secondary coil? No, that is what we are trying to find out. Output voltage is the one with the secondary connection. So we will leave it as secondary voltage or the output voltage. So this will be 22,000 times 115 by 550. The answer will come out to be C. So 4600 volts. The diagram shows two arrangements of a pair of identical bar magnets. So North Pole is there. So if you can recall that the field lines used to repel when North are brought closer. This point is called as null point because no force is observed here. But when North and South are there, these attract. Straight lines will be there as well. So they are simply asking at which point is the magnetic field due to the magnet's weakest and which point it is the strongest. So simply when North are brought closer, in between there is no field line. So this is the weakest. So option A or B will be, one out of A or B will be the correct one. Strongest magnetic field is the one which is closest to the poles. So have they marked any point which is closest to the poles? R point is closest to the poles, so option B is the correct answer. The order of magnetic field strength here will be R, then Q, then P. At P, zero magnetic field will be experienced because it is at the null point where no field lines are together. And R is the closest to the poles where the magnetic field is the strongest. So R, then Q, then P. Now, for question number 27, a nichrome wire P has a length 1 meter and diameter is given. A second nichrome wire Q has a length 2 meters and diameter is given. They are simply asking you the relation between the resistance of both. Okay. So for this, I've made a simple formula that R1 over R2 is equals to L1 over L2 and A2 over A1. So R1 over R2 is equals to, what is the length 1 meter, what is the L2, that is 2 meters, and for area we know that in terms of diameter it is pi d square by 4, but just think about it, you're dividing A2 by A1, so ultimately pi and 4 will get cancelled out, right? So I can directly write, in place of A2 I can directly write 2 into 10 to the power minus 3 square, and for A1 I can write 1 into 10 to the power minus 3 square. Now ultimately again this will get cancelled out, 10 to the power minus 3, 10 to the power minus 3 square will get cancelled out. So you're left with 1 by 2 and 2 square will be 4. So R1 by R2 is equals to 2. R1 by R2 is equals to 2. So R1 over 2 is equals to R2. Means resistance of P divided by 2 is the resistance of Q. So the resistance of Q is 1/2 the resistance of P, right? It is 1/2 the resistance of P. So the correct answer will be B. Alright, and in case you do not understand why did I not use pi and 4, because it's a ratio and it gets cancelled out. Pi and 4 are the same. Also the 10 to the power minus 3 square will be the same for both, right? Both are in millimeter, you are converting to meters, so ultimately it will cancel out. That is why I directly cut it. Next question. A student has two resistors. One resistor is 2 ohms and the other one is 40 kilo ohms. It is not ohms, it is 40 kilo ohms. Alright. When they're connected in parallel and series. So they're simply asking what happens in series and parallel. So in series, you can directly see it will be 40,000 2 ohms. So this is incorrect, this is incorrect. In parallel, we can try to solve this. 1 upon R is equals to 1 upon 2 plus 1 upon 40,000. So the LCM will be 40,000. This will be 20,000. Plus 1. So 1 upon R is equals to, so R is equals to 40,000 over 2001. The answer is coming out to be 1.99, which is equivalent to 2 ohms. And it is in parallel, so the answer will be 2 ohms. Do not make the mistake of converting 1.99 as 1.9. It is incorrect. 1.99 is more close to 2 than it is to 1.9, right? 1.99. If it was 1.89, then your answer would have been 1.9. But now it is 1.99, which is equivalent to 2 ohms. So that is why B is the correct answer. Now, in which circuit do the both lamps light? So for this, we need to remember that current flows from positive to negative terminal of the battery, and the diode's direction should be the same as the current flow direction. So current is going like this, and now the direction of diode and the current flow is opposite, so this will not work. Current flows from positive, all right, so it is flowing like this, and in both the sections it is going towards negative, but now again the direction of current is opposite to the direction of diode, so this will not work. The current flows from positive to negative, so this is going like this, like this. Now see, in this case the direction of current is matching the direction of diode, so this will work. The current will be able to pass very easily. Fourth case as well, let's check. The current goes like this, and then this. So this lamp will work, no issues here, but the lamp below, you can clearly see the direction of current is opposite to the direction of diode. So this will not work. So that is the correct answer is option number C. Now we are left with our final 10-11 questions. An isotope of strontium has a nuclear notation. Alright, so simply asking protons and neutrons. Protons are 38, neutrons will be 84 minus 38, which is 46. So option number A is correct. A student is investigating the count rate of a radioactive substance. So for this, GM counter is used, and what GM counter shows is, it shows the background count as well as the decay from the sample. Alright, the GM counter that we use in order to measure the radioactivity of a substance, it always shows the combined value of background count as well as the decay from the sample. But now if you simply want the decay from the sample, you will have to subtract the background radiation from the reading, right? So subtract the background count from the reading. The option C will be correct. Question number 32. What occurs during nuclear fusion? Nuclear fusion is when two nuclei combine together to be stable and release energy. Right? So when two light atomic nuclei join together and emit energy in order to be stable, so the answer A will be correct. Question number 32. A beta particle enters a uniform magnetic field, directed into the page and deflected downwards as shown. Which direction of electric field would also deflect an electron downwards? So first of all, we need to understand that this question is solved using Fleming's left-hand rule, where the thumb represents force, the index finger represents magnetic field, the middle finger represents current. Or you can simply remember father, mother, child, totally your choice. It's just a small mnemonic for memory. Father, mother, child's FMC, your choice. You can remember FMC or father, mother, child. Force, magnetic field, current in series. First there is thumb, then index finger, then middle finger. Alright. Now it's a beta particle. Beta particle is going from left to right. So the direction of current will be from right to left. Alright. I'm just explaining how you should arrange your fingers in the hand in order to get this question. The current is going towards the left and the magnetic field is into the plane. Cross represents into the plane. So if you align your hand properly, then you will find out that the force is acting downwards. And this is what they have drawn. So this was the concept. But what they are asking now is that which direction of electric field would also deflect an electron downwards? Just think about it. Electron is going towards down. Means positive charge should be here and negative charge should be here. Only then the electron first of all will go towards the positive charge, and if positive charge is here, then the negative charge should be the opposite side, and electric field is always from positive to negative. It's a simple question. They're simply asking that beta particle is entering the magnetic field, but then it is getting deflected towards the down side of the page. Why is it getting deflected towards the down side of the page? Because positive charge must be there. Now, if positive charge is present at the bottom, so the negative charge must be present at the top. And the direction of electric field is positive to negative. So the electric field is going from bottom to the top, right? Bottom to the top. So the answer D will be the correct answer here. And the Fleming rule, I explained why it was getting deflected downwards. All right. The radioactive isotope radon is an alpha emitter. All right. So if it is an alpha emitter, Rn 86 222. If it is releasing alpha particle has atomic number, proton number 2 and mass number 4. So just subtract these particles from the new element, which is polonium. So 88 minus 2 will be 86 and 222 minus 4 will be 218. Now you simply need to tell the number of neutrons in this. So it will be 218 minus 86, which will come out to be option number C, 134. 218 minus 86 will be 134. Which statement gives two safety precautions to take when a person is working with ionizing radiation? So we should limit the exposure as much as possible and we should be far away from it as much as possible. So decrease the exposure time and increase the distance. Yes, this is correct. Option number B. Now, this question is about the decreasing order of distance from the sun, means the planet first should be the furthest away. Then it should be coming closer to the sun, decreasing distance. So for this, we have a very nice mnemonic that my very excellent mom just served us noodles. So this is Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. They're simply asking the decreasing order. Means the planet first should be the furthest away. So Neptune is the furthest away from the sun. Option C is representing Neptune, matching here. Then Uranus is also matching. Saturn is also matching. And the closest one will be the Jupiter. So Jupiter will have the decreased distance, the least distance. Option C is the correct one. Question number 37. The sun radiates most of its energy in the three diagrams in the EM spectrum. Region 1 is infrared radiation, region 2 is visible radiation. So this is infrared, visible. Which one is the third radiation that the sun emits? It is microwave radiation. So option number A will be correct. We need to remember this, that infrared is there in the highest proportion, then visible is there, then microwave radiation is there from the sun. That is why option number A is correct. Now, question number 38. At which position is the comet moving with the greatest speed? So see, as you move away from the sun, the gravitational potential energy with respect to the sun increases and the kinetic energy decreases. But as you are going towards the sun, the point closest to the sun is A. So at this point, gravitational potential energy will be the least because the distance is the least, but the kinetic energy will be the maximum. So at point A, it is moving at higher speed. I'll repeat this again. As you go away from the sun, the gravitational potential energy with respect to sun will increase because the distance is increasing, but the kinetic energy will decrease. Then, as you are moving close to the sun, the gravitational potential energy will be the least because the distance is the least. Kinetic energy on the other end will be the highest. Question number 39. Nuclear reactions in the sun, these happen due to the nuclear fusion. So let's check which option says fusion. A and B are fission, not possible. It involves fusion of helium to produce hydrogen. No. The smaller gas fuses to form the larger gas. Helium is larger than hydrogen, so it involves the fusion of hydrogen to form helium. Hydrogen fuses to form helium, then helium fuses to form beryllium, and the process keeps on going. So the option D will be correct. Now, the last question is question number 14. And this is just a temperature question. They're asking you to predict which planet is which one. So as we are aware that, let's write down the planets order first. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. And as you go away from the sun, the temperature starts decreasing. Now, planet X and Y they're asking us to identify. Planet X has a temperature of minus 65 and planet Y has a temperature of minus 40. First of all, the baseline is minus 195. So Uranus is minus 195. The planet Y is clearly less colder than the Uranus. So it should fall in this range. Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, any one of them. And they have told us that Earth is 15 degrees. 15 is the value. First of all, X. X is colder than Earth. So it could be either one of Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. X, Mars, Mercury is not possible. Mercury will even be hotter than the Earth. So C and D cancels out. Out of option A and B, Mars is there, so this is correct. Now we have to finalize between planet Y. As I can see that Uranus is minus 195 and planet Y is minus 140. So planet Y is clearly hotter than Uranus, right? Planet Y is hotter than Uranus means it should be closer to the Earth. So it could be either Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. Mars we have already picked. Now out of Jupiter and Saturn, which one is the answer? Saturn. So option A will be correct in this case. This is it, guys. The video is a bit long because we have discussed every single question in more detail. We have not simply done that I know the mark scheme and I'll simply correct it that this is the answer, this is the answer. We have discussed every single question in detail. That is why the video becomes a bit lengthy, but it is good for you overall. And in case of any doubts, just feel free to text me on the YouTube chat, YouTube comment section. I'll be happy to reply to any of your queries. Thank you.